Hi, my name is Scott Lewis, and I'm a partner with the NCRM Group, and I'm the Gehring Faculty Coordinator for the Appellate Track at the Indianapolis Gehring Academy this summer. The Appeals Track is really a one-day specialized track. What we've been seeing over the last several years, particularly since the writing of the Dear Colleague letter and the subsequent letters that have come from that, is a real rise in the scrutiny of student conduct processes, especially as they apply to sexual misconduct cases. That scrutiny has resulted in a vast number of court decisions and OCR investigations. Even more recently, just in this last 2 or 3 years, some of the areas we've been losing these cases in higher education have focused on either the quality of the investigation or what's happened in the appellate process. In other tracks, we've been addressing over the last several years how to improve your investigations, and it's something certainly I've dedicated a fair amount of my life to. But I've also been very outward about my criticism of our appellate processes in the student conduct arena. We don't do it well, and now the courts are paying attention to it. The process that we've had has not always been equitable. The process that we've had has not always been, frankly, fair, and it's been a little subjective. And now people are starting to notice. It's been a pretty common process for many student conduct offices around the United States and on many campuses, but now you're starting to see a shift. Having helped hundreds of campuses make this shift over the last 4 years, I thought I would offer to ASCA the ability to talk about how to fix your appellate process so that you don't end up in our annual case law review as the one who botched up the appellate process. We'd like to not have any more cases lost by higher education because we weren't good in the way we managed our appeals. So what this one-day track, it's going to be pretty intensive. What we're going to do in there is we're going to take sort of a standard process, talk about the flaws in that process, from who participates in it, to the order in which it goes, to how many appeals processes do you have, and talk about how we can either wholesale, if you have that ability, make the shift to a more equitable process that we know the Office of Civil Rights approves and we know the courts like better, or if you're going to struggle politically, how to make those incremental moves, as I've had to do with many of my campuses who don't want to make a wholesale change because there's upper administration like presidents and boards involved in this who are reluctant to give that authority away, or because they're new and the policies just are shifting as policies tend to do glacially. They move with the pace of erosion. And so this track, by the end of it, your learning takeaways are going to be, should I go with a wholesale move or should I go with an incremental move? And if I'm going to go with either one, what are the selling points that I need to emphasize, and what are the steps that I'll need to take to have this? And of course, as I've always done as a faculty member at the Gehring track, if you go back to your campus and begin to do this, I'm always going to be available to help you out as you make this change, because it's just so important to us, to our communities, and certainly to the students we serve. It's a one-day track. It's the Friday in Indianapolis Gehring Academy, not up in California. And if there's anything I can do or any questions you have before you sign up for this, please ask. You might even consider inviting somebody to come with you who's in that appellate process, your VP, your president, if you're able to get that to happen. And if you want to have a phone call with me, you and them beforehand so they can understand what we're talking about, just give me a shout, send me an email. I'm happy to set that up. Look forward to seeing you on Friday at the Gehring Academy in Indianapolis this year. Thanks.